beautiful people, how you doing? It's me, as you know me, Blouse. And if you are new to this channel, you're welcome. Just make sure you subscribe because you won't want to miss out on some of our tips. Make sure you tap on the notification bell. You see a tiny bell, just tap on it. It helps you get a notification each time I put up a video. And guess what we will be making today? I'm going to show you the easiest way to make a princess dart blouse with yoke. Yes, you can either make the upper part lace or tulle, however you want it, but I'm going to show you step by step on how to do that, so you won't have to be afraid or scared to cut a princess dart with yoke. So now let's get over to the work table so that we can get started. Here now I have a piece already cut out. For this is not a full blouse, this is just to the waist length. So maybe if you want to add peplum to it and all that. But this is just from the nape of my neck down to my waist. You could have it as a full blouse, that totally depends on you. But because this is just a tutorial and I need little of that, so looking at it, I just had to use a very light interfacing just to make it stable. You can pad it just like the one I have on, but for this is just a tutorial. All I had to do was to just use a very light interfacing to make it stable. Just do all the necessary things you need to do to it. After doing that, you will notice I already mapped out the neckline, but I refuse to cut it because I want you to see the process very well, so you won't be mistaken. Let's just put this piece aside. Remember, this upper part will be lace or tulle. I'll just use this lace for the upper part. Let me set that aside. So for the neckline, you can decide the neck width you want. Let me just check out this neck width. Here I have that's like 5.5. Then for the depth, here I have 3 inches. Can you see that? I have 3 inches, but you could make it lower. That totally depends on your preference. Then for the length of the yoke, I'll make it 7 inches. But first, let me cut out this to make it easier. Or better still, you can leave it, but let me just cut it out. Now, after adding the yoke, in which we have not cut out, this is what the full blouse will look like, a boat neck, which is okay. So now, the first thing I will do is this. I'll take to the sewing machine and I'll have to sew this up, all these panels. Can you see that? Don't forget, always start sewing from the lower parts. Always start sewing. Make sure you pin yours. But right now, I'll just take to the sewing machine to finish it up. The result after sewing it up, can you see the inside of it? Don't forget to notch the seams. Can you see that? I had to take in more that because I wanted the bust area to be more prominent. That is why you have it this way. Can you see that? So the next thing now for the yoke is this. I just have to fold this way. Now I folded it, as I've said. Can you see? So it's on fold now. Make sure everything aligns so well. Can you see that? So now for the depth, remember I said I want it to be 7. I took 3 out, so I'm going to start 3 from here. So 7 will be here. For instance, if you want it 7.5, you could do that. If you want it to be 8, you could do that. But remember, now if I take 7 off, if I cut out 7, I'm still going to sew the whatever yoke I cut out back to this with 1/2 inch. That means the depth will now be 7.5. Hope you understood that. I'm taking 7. So by the time I join it with this yoke, it will come back to 7.5. But the seam allowance will be added to this material we are using for the yoke. So now this is 0.7 inches. So I'll just connect it. You can connect it straight to the armhole area or 1 inches above. That totally depends on you. I'll just go up by 1/2 inch. That's if you want 1 inch upward, but I will just map it to the point where the princess that goes into the armhole area. Then I'll use my cuff to curve it out. Just hope the chalk is visible. Can you see that? You can have it straight if you want it to be straight, I just did a slight sweetheart neck, which is okay. Then I'll have to cut it off. So now this will be the yoke. Can you see that? And this is what I have for this. Can you see? Let me just put it on me for you to see. Can you see that? This is what it looks like. Now we are going to cut out the material for the yoke. Right now, this is the lace I will use for the yoke, for the upper part. This is it. I had to place it on this for better visibility. You just have to fold it this way, and this is the yoke. Make sure this folded part is straight on the lacy fabric. Can you see that? Just try to pin it down. So this is what I have. Then I will now have to trace this out. Or better still, you could just cut it straight. Then remember I said we'll have to join this back to this very one. So what I will do is I'll just have to add all the seam allowance to this very one. So it depends on the seam allowance you want to take. If you want 1/4 inch on this part and then the lower part, that means you add 1/2 inch. If you want 1 inch, then you can add 1 inch. Just take your measuring tape. So this is 1 inch. First I will extend this part. 1 inch. So to get a better curve, you can make use of this to curve it out so well. If for a lacy fabric, one is just okay. Now this is what I have. Can you see that was pretty easy to do? Can you see that? So this was quite okay, but I just have to trim this off a little. That's because the lace part could be a little bit elastic at times. The next thing is to join this to the lower part. Looking at it, this is what we have now. The reason why I came up by 1/2 inch here was that after sewing it, this will join exactly at the armhole point. Can you see what I have? The next thing now is to take to the sewing machine. Then I will now have to sew this up from this edge. Make sure you pin it carefully. Pin this area and make sure you are careful with it, because it will give a little problem to sew this part. But if you do go about it carefully, you will get it so well. So assuming now you are sewing with a lining, since this is on this is the right side of the fabric, this is the lacy part, and this should be the right side. The right side should be facing the right side of the fabric. Then the lining will now be on top of this. So the lace will be in between the lining and the fabric. So assuming I have a lining now, I'll have to place the lining on it. Then I will now have to sew 1/2 inch all through, because I left 1 inch for the seam allowance. Be careful with this sweetheart area. So I'll just sew that up and then show you. Now looking at it, this is what I have. And you see it on the wrong side. Now I ought to top stitch, but assuming the lining is with it, I would have top stitched this seam allowance to the lining, but I'm just going to leave it like that. But this sweetheart peak, I just have to notch it. So with this, when you top stitch, it will be very okay. So all the same goes inside. You can see that on the wrong side, and this is it on the right side. Can you see? It's so beautiful and easy to make. I'll just put this on me for you to see the full outfit. Can you see that? You can see it's so nice and beautiful. You can decide to make it lower or to make the sweetheart more prominent. That totally depends on you. So that is just it on how to make a princess dart blouse with yoke. Now, if my tutorial on how to make this has been helpful, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Blouse Signatures. On Facebook, we have Sewing Innovation. It's a closed group. Just search for it, and the admin will approve your request. Hope you had a nice time. I need to get going.